Welcome to aminacademy.com. In statistics and econometrics, let us discuss various stages of econometrics research. There are mainly four stages of econometrics: to develop a theory or hypothesis. Econometricians first establish a hypothesis or theory to guide data analysis. That means before data analysis, there should be a theory or hypothesis. Second stage, specify a statistical model. In this step, econometricians identify a statistical model to examine the relationship between the variables. Estimate the model's variables. Fourth stage, perform a test. We will discuss further more about these four stages detailedly. There are stages of econometrics to create a new economic theory. To develop theory or hypothesis, which means econometricians first establish hypothesis or theory to guide data analysis. To do this, they define the data's independent and dependent variables. Then econometricians use existing economic theories such as supply and demand to form a hypothesis that explains the relationship between these variables. Specify statistical model. In this step, econometricians identify a statistical model to examine the relationship between variables. A common relationship between variable is linear, in which happens when any changes to one variable result in a similar change to the other variable. It's called a linear relationship. To account for nonlinear influences on a variable, and econometricians may add new variables, which is an error term. This variable, which is usually zero, represent the margin of error in the model. Econometricians use it to account for differences between the model's analysis and actual results. Estimate the model's variables. Econometricians use economic data to estimate any unknown variables in the model. Often they use existing statistical procedures or econometric software to make these calculations. Many econometric techniques like cost effectiveness analysis and a software program to help make this a straightforward part of the process. Estimating these variables is important because it helps econometricians evaluate the accuracy of their theory and make necessary changes. To perform a test, an econometricians conducts a statistical test to determine the validity of their theory or hypothesis. That means first create a theory or hypothesis and you have to check with validity of that hypothesis or test. These tests evaluate a set of data to determine whether it supports their hypothesis and correctly assesses the relationships between variables in the model. If the test is successful, it means the new method is a valid tool for explaining an economic relationships. If it is not, the econometricians may change their statistical model and try again. Economics analyze statistical data to help companies, organizations, or policymakers to make important decisions based on predicted economic trends. That means there must be a prediction to continue the business or policymakers. People who work in econometrics, a specialized field of economics, study data and develop theories that have practical applications for understanding economic concepts such as scarcity and incentives. If you are interested in working in economics, learning more about this subfield can help you decide whether it's right for you. What is econometrics? One more time, we define about econometrics. Econometrics is the application of a statistical and mathematical models to analyze economic data and create new economic models. Econometricians develop economic or financial theories, then test these theories by comparing the results with actual data. They also may use econometrics to predict economic trends such as an economic's growth rate based on historical data. Econometricians generally rely on statistical models to quantify economic theories. A primary focus of econometrics is to convert qualitative statements into quantitative statements. From conversion of qualitative statements to quantitative statements is done. Qualitative statements describe the relationship based on observations, while quantitative statements use numbers or data to make judgment. This conversion helps econometricians analyze large amounts of data and determine simple relationship with them. For example, the econometricians may use data to examine the relationship between a team's salaries and their productivity. Econometrics can have many use in the economic and financial industries. You can use this area of economics include to test economic theories. Econometrics provides a way to access various economic theories that may have significant applications. Some relationship econometricians have studied include supply and demand, income and expenditure, and labor and capital. These are main studies in econometrics theories. Estimate economic relationship. Econometricians can estimate the relationships between economic variables. Business may rely on these estimations when making financial or operational decisions, such as how much inventory to purchase based on current demand. Predict economic trends. By comparing the results of an economic theory with actual data, econometricians can predict economic trends. This benefits business as they devise strategies to make their long-term financial goals. Types of econometrics. Theoretical econometrics. Theoretical econometrics is the study of current statistical models' properties to determine the unknown variables in the models. These experts work to develop new statistical procedures that can logically determine unknown variables. For example, theoretical econometricians may try to predict a company's return on an investment over a specific time. This type of econometrics focuses on mathematics, statistical theories, and numerical methods such as probability or correlation analysis to ensure these theories can produce accurate calculations and conclusions. Mostly based on mathematics, statistical theories, and numerical methods such as probability or correlation analysis. Applied econometrics. Applied econometrics uses theories to convert qualitative statements into quantitative statements. This from quality to quantitative. These econometricians work more closely with set of data to analyze trends and predict outcomes. They may work closely with their theoretical colleagues to share data that may change or affect their developing theories. Tools of econometrics. Econometricians commonly use the following two tools to analyze economic data and study relationship between various concepts. First one, simple linear regression. A simple linear regression model is a statistical strategy that uses one variable to predict the value of second variables. That means we have to connect the relationship between two variables. There are two types of variables which are dependent and independent variables. Other variables don't affect independent variables, while dependent variables value changes based on its relationship to an independent variables. The simple linear regression model allows econometricians to analyze the relationship between these corresponding variables. For example, an econometrician might use their model to test a hypothesis that a person's spending increases when they receive a raise in salary. This is an example for direct relations, linear relations. The person's new salary is the independent variable because it remains constant. Their spending is the dependent variable because it may changes based on their salary. Multiple regression. A multiple regression models expands on the simple linear models. Instead of one independent variables, it uses two or more predict the value of the dependent variables. For example, an econometrician might use the multiple regression model to form a theory that a person's salary increases based on their years of work experiences and educations. In this example, the years of work experience and educations are independent variables because they remains the same regardless of other variables. The salary is the dependent variable because it can change based on the other independent variables. So far we discussed about different stages of econometrics as well as about regression, linear regression and multiple regression we studied about. We have done. Please subscribe our YouTube channel.